Thanks very much, Braxy, and we have got the historic touring cars making their way around to the start. This will be a 15-minute journey. In fact, they're gridding themselves up as we come around now. It is going to be Brad Tilley. He sat on the front row for, or won race one at this event last year to Andy Williams in his little Tirana over Darren Collins in the Mustang, Peter McNiven in the Mazda RX-2. Let's have a look at the grid now. It is going to be Brad Tilley to Adrian Moyle in number 25 there. Then we go to Adam Walton, Peter McNiven in the number 13. So Peter McNiven finished fourth in this race last year. He starts from fourth in this one today, and we are absolutely poised. And we hope we have also rectified our technical difficulties, and it'd be fantastic to introduce the voice of this era of motorsport, although he is a young man. Darren Knight, welcome to the Group N's, the historic touring cars, which are the feature category for this actual weekend.
Young in maturity, not in age or hairline, Darren. Good afternoon, everyone.
That's why we're great mates. The dazzers go to air.
Double D, double dummy. Here we go, folks. The first race for Group N, historic touring cars. Brad Tilley, no stranger to this class. He has pole position alongside Adrian Moyle, a relative newcomer to the category. He's been running that.
Magnificent car, doing a terrific job there as well, and away. And down into turn one they go. It's the Camaro versus the Mustang. This could be modern day touring car racing here in Australia, but it's not. It's the 2024 Winton Festival of Speed. Brad Tilley charges through in the NC6 outfit. Car number 28 leads the way, looking for all of these massive touring cars, and we've got a big stoush at turn one, mixing up with a couple of Mustangs and the smaller capacity cars just making their way through there as well. Peter Muleman. Ooh. And we've got the race safe crew there. They're just attending to it. Peter Muleman is getting back underway in this magnificent looking number 43, and he gets back on with the job indeed at hand. And we see how well that gets on for him. But we are watching the cars coming around onto the old back straight, and they work their way down to turn number 9. And continue on. Let's hope that the track is all but blocked down there at turn 1, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, we've seen safety car be called, safety car lights and flags right around the track here. So we've got two Mustangs. Looks like nose to nose there at the moment, doesn't it, Daz?
Yeah, one of those cars is Bill Trengrove, the red at 64, just trying to pick up the second Mustang. That's the 67, 68 model Mustang. Bill, of course, in the famous first generation Mustang, getting out of the car now.
So that was definitely ugly, and we don't like to see any sorts of comings together. It did not happen in our vision, so we can't iterate anything that's gone on there. But when you see a tilt tray like that come down, and I do remember a distraught Alan Moffat referring to these tow trucks as vultures as they come along and pick up the bits and pieces of cars strewn around Mount Panorama or wherever it was, and there was a guy that knew very well and the heartache that ensued when one of those vultures was coming to pick up your car. Well, we didn't get a chance to get right through the grid at the start of this one, so let's actually have a look at how the grid did start off for this one. Pole position was Brad Tilley. His time was a 1:34.24. He did a 1:35.46, which was a record in race number 1 at this event last year. So Brad eclipsed his own time there. To Adrian Moyle, a 1:35.66. To Adam Walton, a 1:36.15. Peter McNiven in the RX-2 getting through there with a 1:37.27. So a decent old gap in the front row of the grid to the second row of the grid, Darren, with a 1:34 versus a 1:37. But then we get this massive logjam in 1:37s. Tony Hubbard, a very successful sports sedan racer of time. Dominic Leo, the famous Leo family. Brent Trengove, a guy that I think is currently leading the Victorian Historic Racing historic touring car series, and does a tremendous job in his number 22, Brent, in the Chevy Camaro, the red-coloured car. So he started out at position 7. Graham Wakefield in car number 150.
Graham Wakefield, in fact, is the Mustang that was involved in that, and he's the car that's stricken there with Bill Trengrove. So Queenslander, unfortunately, not having much luck on his first corner. So Wakefield is the man with that damaged 68 model Ford Mustang, just parked nose to nose with Bill Trengrove.
So that's unfortunate. Adam Bressington in the number 88 down there as well. So Adam, a very serious racer, and he's in the Cooper S there as well. So the first of the minis was Adam Bressington out of number 9. So on track now. Group N's and invited. Not too sure how many inviteds are there, because this is a huge field of Group N's and all the different variants of that. Really big grid, 34 cars on the grid. Darren Knight remains here, and he's not quite frothing at the mouth just yet, but I tell you what, by the time we get to the feature race for these guys this afternoon, he will be absolutely on it. Let's have a look at the grid sheet, Dazza.
Pole position will be Brad Tilley. Of course, the grid positions are from qualifying, because yesterday was a no race. Unfortunately, we had a couple of Mustangs come together on the first corner, so the race was red flag being time certain. So grid positions are from qualifying. From Saturday morning, Brad Tilley will start out of pole in the white Mustang with the blue stripes, number 28, and he'll start alongside the Victorian Adrian Moyle in the black and silver 68 model Chevy Camaro. Second on the grid, great performance from Adam Walton in the number 57 Ford Mustang. He'll start alongside Peter McNiven in the first of the Mazdas out there, Brat RX2, number 13, and it's Tony Hubbard. Hopefully we'll see Tony out there. He broke an axle off the line yesterday. Just checking if he's out there. The 67 Chevy Camaro, unfortunately, coming a cropper with that race start yesterday. In any case, Dom Leo will be out there on the third row of the grid alongside where Hubbard is meant to start in the white 69 model Chevy Camaro with the gold stripes, number 84. That's the ex-Darren Collins machine. Darren, which we've seen take many race victories,
absolutely,
particularly at Phillip Island over the years.
And swap brands, he's been running a Mustang of recent times too.
Yep, and now back behind the wheel of a Chev. Brent Trengrove will be next, another 69 red Chevy Camaro, number 22. Graham Wakefield won't be out there, unfortunately. He was the man that was facing the wrong way in turn 1 yesterday, sustained some damage to his Mustang all the way down from Queensland, so disappointing into the meeting for Wakefield. Then it's Adam Bressington, the very quick mini driver from Sydney, the blue machine, number 88, took victories here at earlier Winton Historic meetings, so keep an eye on the first of the minis there starting out of grid 9 alongside a West Australian, Aldo Di Paoli, in the Chevy Camaro. His first time here at Winton. We've seen him take very high placings at Phillip Island over the years as well, having his first visit to Winton, Darren.
Great to see Aldo there as well, and of course we haven't got Mr. Stubber here from Perth as well, so no yellow Camaro from the Western Australian state. Andrew Bed to Robert Burns in the first of the Mopars. Mark Tesori in the HQ. He's got some very nice hot rear tyres. He just did a massive spin up of them as he came out past our spot on the warm-up lap. Bill Trengove out of 16, Jeff Mundy out of 17, Stephen Pillikers to Chris Crow, Les Walmsley, Francis Meyer, Peter Mullerman in the 43 down in 22nd. He's not had a good run in qualifying. Great to see Pete go racing in the all devilish looking car. Lights are on red and away we go at the front of the field. It is Tilley gets it done nicely. We look down at Don Knight, Rob James, Pete Oliver, John Clark, Neil Crow, Chris Finlayson and Gary Finnemore in the number 9 off the back of the grid, but it'll be Tilley into turn number 1. They all funnel down into the way the track designs there. It's like sealing an envelope as you head down to turn 1. McNiven into P3 as he goes up to turn 3.
Adam Walton, a great start, sweeps into second place in the number 57 Ford Mustang after starting 4th on the grid. McNiven sliding into 3rd. Trengrove right up there too in 4th, and the number 22 Chevy Camaro. Just confirmation Tony Hubbard has not made the start, unfortunately, after breaking an axle. But look at the lead already for Brad Tilley out in front in the number 28 Ford Mustang. Then it's Walton, McNiven, Trengrove.
Trengrove just jumping over that little bit of gutter there, or the ripple strip there. It's hardly a ripple strip, it's in almost a launch pad there. So that Camaro got very, very upset through there, but Brad Tilley getting it nicely done. Look at Bressington in that Mini. He's gone through on that Leo gold and white Camaro there as well. And we get the mid-pack of GTR XU1s. And all of the lesser capacity cars start to stream on through here. But have a look at Pete Niven. These RX2s are doing such a great job in historic touring cars of late. Darren Hossack, the multiple supercar champion and national sports sedan champion, often seen running his purple car. And not here this weekend, but certainly those little rotary RX2s are, if they're done right, they can run with these higher horsepower cars around a track like Winton. It's all about power down. So if you have got 600 horsepower and you've worked it out without spinning the wheels, McNiven up the inside.
Puts the move on Trengrove. Trengrove fighting back though onto the old back straight. So McNiven will have to try it all again in that little RX2. Adrian Moyle will be a little bit disappointed with that start after starting on the front row of the grid. He's fallen back to 4th, but it's still right in the mix behind our 3rd place man, which is now Aldo Di Pioli. He has really come through from 10th on the grid. No surprise there, very quick driver in that red Chevy Camaro number 96.
These are very, very short, sharp affairs here, so everybody has to make every corner absolutely count. It's not about sitting back and letting it all play out. There's the number 12 Mini.
Richard Hill, one of the fastest Minis drivers in the country. He'll be disappointed in that. A DNF for the number 12 Cooper S.
Yeah, that's a real shame, but we're seeing here there's the Cortina looking down the inside of the Mini there as well. Brad Tilley claiming ultimate authority out in front of this race, but they're short races, Darren, so they've got to really make sure if you've got a move to put on someone, put it on them. Don't wait for the next opportunity.
They've only got 2 minutes to go in this short and sharp affair. Of course, we'll have the longer 50k race, the Just Cars Cup, a little bit later today, so make sure you are by the screen for that. If you're not here at the track, that would be fantastic. The Just Cars 50k Cup, so
12:15. 12:15 is when we've got that on, the feature race at lunchtime.
The cars will be brimmed full of fuel, as looks like Tilley has this in the bag at the moment. 134.4, fastest man on the circuit by some way. Adam Walton still holding down 2nd place. Dom Leo looking to put a move on Brent Trengrove. The 269 Camaro's on screen now. Leo gets sideways as he tries to put that move on Trengrove. Trengrove, the red machine, 22. Dom Leo, the white and gold machine, number 84.
Geez, these Camaros, they're really hooked up, aren't they? They're giving those Hoosier tyres an absolute workout. The front of the field here, Camaro, SS Camaro, rotary powered RX2 from Mazda. It really is the anomaly amongst that, isn't it? The McNiven car. Geez, he drives that thing so well. Really gives it absolutely everything.
Another man who's giving it everything is Adam Bressington in the diminutive Coupe S, right behind the Camaro of Leo. So the Mini well within inside the top 10, doing a great job, Bresso.
I do like the way Bressington has taken up from where Ted Brewster left off. He would be the one that would have been keeping them all absolutely honest here. I remember as a kid just loving the battles with him and John Mann around Winton a couple of times in the wet, and it was Manny that didn't take the win, and it was Teddy Brewster that got it up there. Big shout out to Ted. I know he's watching from somewhere. An absolute awesome veteran of this style of racing.
Leo has got through on Trengrove, so Dom Leo now up into 6th place as Tilley continues to lead from Walton, Di Pioli and Moyle. Di Pioli trying very hard there, nipping a break as he came on to the old back straight, trying to chase down a 2nd place man, Adam Walton, in the number 57 Ford Mustang.
Geez, I tell you what, Brad Tilley and Adam Walton have done a terrific job in their pony Mustangs. Whoa, that Camaro got himself all bent out of shape, the 84 of Dom Leo.
Yeah, Leo's making sure those tyres are staying warm on the exit of the old turn 2. He has Trengrove back right on his tail again as we head towards the end of this race for
Talking about warm tyres, where's Mark Tesori in car number 8? He was the one that was giving him a punishment out at 11th place at the moment. So
should be the last lap for Brad Tilley. Very handy lead now over Adam Walton.
There's Bressington in the Mini, and coming in behind, that'll be Baird, and then Burns in the Charger. Getting a good look at this front pack here. There's Dominic Leo, and behind Dom is Trengo. There's Bressington.
Andrew Beard Camaro just on screen now. A little bit of panel damage. Was caught up in that in the lead yesterday, unfortunately. Still having a pretty solid run there inside the top 10. The wheel of that silver Camaro number 86 as Brad Tilley heads towards the checkered flag. Still battles going on through the field. Richard Hill back on track, so it's good to see him getting going there with Steve Russell Clark. One of the great characters in the little Austin A40 Farina right on the tail of Hill as they go up through the S's at the top part of the circuit.
Tell you what, when they set these A30s and A40s and up properly, I mean, they have one make racing still, one field for these A40s in the UK and these historic events, and they get something like 60 cars entered. We've gone over the time now, so it will be checkered flag coming around now, this time for Brad Tilley. He's holding on. There's the 196 is John Clark.
John Clark
off down the back of the field.
Big shout out to all the flaggies. John Clark has been well involved with the flag marshalling community for many, many years. So well done to all the flaggies and volunteers as always.
Yeah, we don't go racing without the volunteers. They're all the way around the track, and it's not just flaggies trackside, it's also the recovery crew, the pit and paddock people, and the people that put together the likes of the show and shine paddock. I saw you out there earlier this morning, Darren, having a looking around at some Mustangs in the show and shine.
Exactly. Speaking of Mustangs, Brad Tilley looks like he is heading towards the checkered flag. Fairly easy win by the look of it for Brad. Checkered flag this time.
Checkered flag has been waved, and certainly Brad Tilley takes that win, and ultimately at the end there was 3 seconds back to
DiPioli got through on Walton on the last lap. We just missed that. So the West Australian into second place on the final lap after a great race from Adam Walton in the Mustang, finished third. Adrian Moyle was fourth in the Chevy Camaro. Peter Niven and the giant killing little Mazda RX2 was fifth. Dom Leo was sixth after a great battle with Brett Trengrove, the two 69 Chevy Camaros finishing 6th and 7th. Adam Bressington, great drive into 8th in the little Coupe S. Andrew Beard was 9th in the Camaro. And Mark Tessari, the Burnout King, was 10th in the HQ Monaro.
I'm pretty sure he didn't want to get the reputation of Burnout King, but he was certainly trying to get them heating the tyres, wasn't he, on that outlap? That's for sure. The Burnout King. But there is a couple of minis heading towards the line there, and they continue on through. And very, very well done, considering yesterday we had a bit of a pile-up and some terminal damage occurred to the cars at turn 1. We got right through that exceptional 5-lap sprint race.
Yeah, no panel damage, I think, which is great.
Yep.
Fantastic. So
I think everyone saw yesterday, and they're running a little bit scared about the repair bills that they witnessed yesterday.
Yeah, it's been pretty good, actually. We've been it was quite unlucky yesterday, that incident in turn 1. Been very rare, those sort of incidents in historic touring cars over the past few years, but all good this morning, and a great drive from Brad Tilley. And thank you very much to Just Cars magazine. Of course, we've got the Just Cars Cup coming up at around 12:15 today. The 50k Just Cars Cup. Now, it's not $50,000 prize money. It's 50k.
I can see how the
duration.
mistake would be made by a race driver.
Yeah. Well, it's not cheap running these things.
No, that's right. If someone says 50k, I'll have it. Thank you very much. Darren, thank you very much for your time during the Group N and Invited. Up next is the Group S and Invited, followed by Formula Ford. We certainly recommend everybody check out all of the displays and the traders and the trade alley behind the kiosk and everyone in the display area. Looking forward to seeing that as we wave goodbye to the Just Cars Group N and Invited. We'll be back with more Group S on track in a moment. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've took the opportunity to check out the Shannon's Show and Shine cars go around. Grab yourself a bit of a feed, because this is going to be the race of the weekend, the Just Cars Touring Car Cup, 50 Ks. Now, that doesn't sound too much, but Andrew Baird's already got damage on the front of his car. We damaged a couple yesterday in a first lap melee as well. And we're about to go live with this 50k plate. We've been talking about this in the background for a few weeks, haven't we, Dazza? And we're about to go live. I say Dazza, I mean Darren Knight, the fullest respect expert on his touring cars.
Talking about yourself, where are you, Darren?
Yeah, talking about myself in the mirror is what I do best.
Yeah, so, yeah, just outlining that there are two Darrens behind the microphone, folks. So good afternoon, everyone. Great to have you on board too.
That's Darren Knight.
Yes. Is this so we know who to blame when we make all these mistakes?
That's right.
Post-race?
Yep.
Just Cars Magazine, Historic Touring Car Cup, 50k. So the longest journey that this category has all season long. So those tanks will be filled to the brim. You don't want to run out of juice on the last lap, which occasionally happens in motorsport. And the guys will be locked and loaded, ready for this big event.
I don't fear that anyone's going to run out of fuel, though. Is there, like, even the Camaros and stuff that'll be quite thirsty, they'll be able to carry enough fuel for it, won't they?
Oh, they're marginal sometimes. Just a bit. You've got to sometimes be vigilant with the pedal.
Let me colour it in blue for you here. The Mustangs with their big V8s, they've got enough fuel tank to get to the end, haven't they?
Well, Brad Tilley, the winner from this morning, was telling me a story about last year's race. He was taking a little bit easier on the juice, and he came back and he still had 18 litres left in the tank last year. So he won't be doing that this year, I can tell you.
Let loose. Let's have a look at the grid, because Brad Tilley will be away from pole position with Aldo Di Poli. So we've got as it says on the front of our program, Ford versus Holden, and that's what they do. Perfectly script written and adhered to by both Brad Tilley and Aldo Di Poli. Adam Walton next to Adrian Moyle. Peter McNiven, for those Rotary fans, out of position number 5. Dominic Leo. Adam Bressington in the first of the minis. Andrew Baird in his Camaro. Mark Tesori in the HQ Coupe. Brent Trengove in the Camaro. Jeff Mundy in the Camaro. Stephen Pillikers, David Street, Bill Trengove. 15th is Peter Muleman, slowly making his way back up in the black Mustang. Was down at 19th earlier today, making his way back up through the field. Rob James, then we've got Leo Tobin, Chris Crow, Francis Meyer, Dean McLaughlin, Don Knight, Gordon Cox, Gary Finnemore in the number 9. Great to see Gary fighting his way back too in the number 9. Where were we? So Steve Russell Clark to Philip Barrow, Chris Finlayson, Peter Oliver, John Clark, Robert Burns, Neil Crow, Richard Hill, Graham Wakefield won't be there, and Tony Hubbard won't be there either. So they were off the back of the grid. Cars forming up. It's a big field of cars, and we're going to get a good look at all of them throughout this 50k race. It's going to be a ripper. We're waiting for it. Darren Knight, over to you for the start of this one.
Race winner this morning, Brad Tilley in the white and blue Falcon, number 28, alongside the Chev Camaro of the West Australian, Aldo Di Poli. His first visit to Winton. Very strong race this morning, coming from 10th on the grid, as Gordon Cox has retired his Mark II Cortina GT, unfortunately. So the man from Racer Industries looks like he'll be going no further. He's well off the race circuit, so we should get a race start.
Race control certainly watching what that car's trying to achieve by making his way down the road. I hope he's not trying to make it back to the pits, but we're on the way.
Tilley, Di Poli off the line into turn 1 for the first time. The Mustang on the inside. Di Poli's made a great start though, and he'll sweep across Brad Tilley to lead through the S's for the first time. Adrian Moyle, a much better start in the black Camaro than the first race this morning. He's up into third already as Tilley makes a move on Di Poli, so he's not mucking around. Into the lead after only 3 corners.
Geez, Di Poli, cold tyres, understeered into turn 1, understeered turn 2, and ultimately understeered at 3, and that's what opened the door up for Brad Tilley. I don't think it was a deliberate door opening, but when your car's understeering on cold tyres like that, they sat on the grid for a long time, so a lot of temperature came out. But Brad Tilley, you do not want to give him a millimetre, let alone an inch, because he'll take a metre.
took the lap record this morning too, which he was quite surprised about, being a fairly cool track surface, but early sun a lot earlier than yesterday. We had a bit of cloud cover, so Brad Tilley lowering his lap record yesterday, so that car and driver are definitely hooked up for this weekend.
Peter Milliman just there in the Mustang mid-pack. He's chasing down the Capri there as well. Haven't quite got to the bottom of why Pete sort of got buried down in the pack earlier on this weekend, but certainly not where he normally reigns in the black Mustang. Not going to say he takes it up to Brad Tilley on a regular basis, but he certainly runs with Adrian Moyle and Niven and Baird as well there, but we'll see how he battles it out in this longer race.
McNiven on screen now in the fourth of those cars in the queue there, the red two-door RX2, number 13, well up there in fourth place, right behind the black Camaro of Adrian Moyle. So McNiven, that lightweight Mazda, will certainly be looking after its tyres a lot easier than the big V8s ahead of him, so he's a guy to keep an eye on. Adam Walton not far behind. McNiven too in the next of the Mustangs there in fifth place, number 57.
Gee, McNiven, that little 12A, just absolutely screaming its brains out going up the straight there. And that's what you've got to do when you've got a Mustang ranging up there in Walton behind you. Adam Walton, who started out at P3, he's gone back a couple of spots, and he would like to get that all back under control there. This is Tilley out in front. These guys know how to do it, whether it be in Group N trim or in a Touring Car Masters type trim. They certainly got the piece of equipment they need to go racing with in this style of circuit racing. Look up the inside there, the 111. That's a very big look by Robert James.
The Capri from Queensland having a big look. Another man having a big look is that diminutive Cooper S of Adam Bressington. Just saw him briefly there. He's in 8th place, but for how much longer? He's right on the tail of our 7th place car, Brent Trengrove, the red Camaro, number 22.
A couple of Tiranas mixing it up here. In fact, that's the Capri there, the gold Capri of car number 111, Robert James, doing a ripping job throwing down the challenge there. You never know till you give it a go, and that's what he did. Threw at the big one at car number 14, which is Steve Pillickers, a guy that has been around for a very long time in this style of racing.
Second generation Tirana racer, of course. Father John, pole of the day Tirana for many, many years.
They wouldn't have liked to see a blue oval come past, I would suggest. Opposite to you, Dazza, you're smiling from ear to ear to see the Capri go through.
I am completely unbiased when I'm in the commentary box, Darren. Don't you believe that? You're shaking your head vigorously.
No, I am. I've seen you. I've heard you before, but I'm not gonna. I won't drag you any further into it. There's Peter Muleman now. He ranges up behind Stephen Pillickers. So we're talking for about 16th on the road. So Chris Crow is just in front of him there. So Chris Crow, a guy that raced in club cars all through the 90s, has found his way into this historic touring cars, the Group N type of field, and he's doing a brilliant job. We look back over to the sweeper now. There's Dominic Leo streaming on through. Dominic Leo currently in 6th, Brent Trengrove behind, and Bressington in that mini hanging on with that group.
Richard Hill also coming through the field in the number 12 Coupes. He unfortunately had a coming together with the Phil Barrow FJ Holden in this morning's race. He was quite cross with himself. Richard, a very clean driver, but he's moving through the field, so we'll keep an eye on the diminutive number 12 machine as we watch Tilley leading in the number 28 Mustang from Di Paoli in the Chev Camaro. Looking after his tyres, I would think, Aldo, with quite some time to go in this race. 20 laps, hasn't been getting the car sideways, and he's just keeping a little thing in his pocket there to try and perhaps pressure Tilley towards the end of this race, Darren.
Oh, sadly, Gary Finnemore has retired to the pit lane, or gone into the pit lane, so that wasn't part of his plan for this one, but Gary Finnemore in number 9 heads back into the pits. Leo Tobin currently now in 17th and challenging, but this is our race leader, Brad Tilley. Doesn't leave too much of the imagination when you see a white pony silhouette like that with the blue stripes over the top. You're talking Ford and you're talking a race car.
This Mustang, original shape Mustang, so probably the lightest of the early generation Mustangs for sure. Running a little 289 Windsor under the bonnet, but is running to NC specs, so that car is allowed to run an 8-inch wide wheel in NC specs, whereas the NB cars, the pre-65 cars, must run a 6-inch wheel, which makes it quite exciting through the tricky bits, Darren.
Certainly does, and it'll certainly play out best at the end of this journey for this race, that they're having a little bit more extra rubber. Of course, the 289 was very, very well used for many, many years by John Mann. He was kept at the front of the Group N field in the previous, the strictly Group N type of category, but that 289 used to scream its brains out, and generally right behind it was Teddy Brewster in the Mini, and that was screaming its brains out too.
Certainly was. It's like Brent Trengrove has got past Dom Leo. They had a great battle in this morning's race. Here comes Mark Desari in the big HQ Monaro number 8. Similar colour to the ex-Bob Jane Racing. John Harvey driven HQ Monaro. Problems for one of the XU1s. That could be Crow.
It could be, yeah, the green in colour car coming off there. So Chris Crow just parking it up there. We think it was. We didn't get a picture from the side of the car, but can't quite see where it stopped on track. Oh no, slowing now.
Brent Trengrove.
That is not good. He's waving out the window. The 84 of Dominic Leo goes streaming on through. Tassari goes on through.
Brent was in 6th place when he had struck that trouble in the number 22 Camaro.
This Tassari car, who had that one prior to him? It's not a Kent Youlden car, is it?
No, that's in the Leo family.
Yep, thought so. Sorry.
Tassari, of course, HQ champion in Victoria, HQ 6-cylinder champion before he moved into the wild and wacky world of historic touring cars.
Probably Kevin Stoopman's car or something, was it? Maybe. He had the yellow and black one and a red one at one stage. But that's neither here nor there, because we're well and truly entrenched into this particular race. 4 laps down. It's going to be a good journey.
Adam Walton on screen now, chasing the Mazda RX-2 of Peter McNiven. Walton looking very racy on his first visit to Winton Motor Raceway. Had a great start in this morning's race off the second row of the grid. Was soon into 2nd place, and he's right with McNiven now. This is the battle on screen for 4th place.
The Touring Car Cup, the Just Cars Touring Car Cup 50k, smack bang in the middle of our program. To the outside now, rounds him up. Nothing short of cubic inches will solve every problem when you're going charging down a straight like that, but McNiven hasn't given up. He's going to crest the hill here, right in behind Walton. That Mustang.
Walton made the move, so big run on McNiven going into the S's, got him around the outside and has come out cleanly to now move up into 4th place. McNiven back to 5th.
Adrian Moyle now in that black car, had a massive run at Phillip Island a few weeks ago in the state round. Tilly now catching some back markers. That's the 54 there.
Peter Olver driving the ex-Mick Stupka Cortina GT. McNiven now fighting back.
Of course, that was one
Walton.
of the more general stream type of race cars for Mick Stupka. He's had a number of interesting
It was too
race
normal.
cars.
It was too normal.
It was too normal. There was too many of them.
He races a 1950 Citroen front-wheel drive. Had Hillman Imps over the years as well. Rear-wheel drive, rear-engine car. Then he had a front-engine, rear-wheel drive car, Cortina. No good.
No good. Can't do that. That's too conventional. But pedalled it pretty hard. So I remember that Citroen. It was like, wow, how does he do that?
Yeah, Michael Stuck were always well-presented cars, but has moved it on, and Peter Olver take up the mantle behind the wheel of that 54 Cortina now, as we see Walton trying to stay ahead of McNiven. McNiven makes up all sorts of ground, of course, when we get to the corners.
Brett Tilley now leading the way. It's doing it a convincing lead now out over Pioli.
Fastest lap so far for Tilly on lap 4, 135.89. Next fastest man is Di Pioli, 136.4. So plenty of speed in hand for Brad Tilley.
Interestingly enough, when you listen to the Tilley car, it doesn't sound like it's stretching. It's just easing it through the gears. It doesn't sound like it's being worked too hard. And then when you hear Pioli coming on through behind him in the Chevy, it sounds like it's working hard, like he's giving it an extra couple of hundred revs or maybe even an extra 1,000 revs compared to Tilly. But they just produce a good race car, this Tilly family, don't they?
Well, they've been doing it for 100 years, drivers and preparers themselves, so they certainly know how to screw together a very good race car. A couple of weeks ago, of course, we saw Jamie Tilly, Brad's son. He had a great run at the Touring Car Masters round at Eastern Creek, took out the round win in his TCM Mustang, so certainly well prepared motor cars, and Brad Tilly is showing the fruits of that today.
Great to see the number 25 Adrian Moore currently in P3. Certainly lost touch with the leader, 6.2 seconds back, but 3.7 seconds to Pioli in second place here, and they're both in fairly like machinery, being Camaros, and certainly getting a good look at them.
So Moyle in third, hasn't really been able to make any ground on our second place man, Aldo Di Pioli. McNiven has got past Walton, so Peter McNiven back into fourth place. Adam Walton back to fifth. Is he suffering from a bit of tyre degradation? So good drive there from McNiven. As I suggested, the Mazda will be looking after its tyres a lot better than the big V8s ahead of him, and he's now back up into fourth. Les Walmsley in the Cortina just ahead of Francis Meyer in the Coupes. Les Walmsley best presented car this weekend, and that is not a surprise at all, with some fantastic preparation work from Liam Reid and his team. Francis Meyer now gets a good run on Walmsley, so Cortina versus Mini. Francis Meyer, the number 188 machine, he's just had a really good exit on that corner and a slingshot past Walmsley.
How good's this group here, Darren? We've got a Mini, we've got a Cortina, there's a Mustang ranging in the background, there's a Mustang in front, and there's two more Minis and Cortinas off the back of them here. So this is, just trying to pick up where we are in the field here. It's in the 20s somewhere, Walmsley. So 19, 20, 21 is where we're watching here, and these guys are having an absolute ding-dong battle, aren't they?
They certainly are. Leo Tobin in the number 46 Mustang making a return to the category after dabbling in TCM for a few years. Had a very quick Tirana in years gone by, so good to see Leo back in the category.
Datsun 1600 off the back there. I think that's David Brown, isn't it?
No, that is Dean McLaughlin in the silver Datsun 1600. He's trying to reel in that, well, you can't miss it, purple and yellow Cortina GT of John Harrison. Finlayson looks like he is retiring. Chris Finlayson in the number 6 Coupes, unfortunately.
Started out at 29th, had not made too much up there. There's the number 50 McLaughlin car. Good to see a Datsun out there. Dean doing a tremendous job. Started out of position number 22 and is currently in position 22, so hasn't lost any positions in the little Datto. There'll be a lot of people that will have at some point in time started driving in one of these cars as a...
some of it legally and some of it illegally in the paddocks.
Yeah, on the rally stages, whatever it might be. Close off a road and away you go. As we're just getting a good look now through these cars. There's that number 89 Cortina also in that mix. That's John Harrison. Good to see a bit of a mix up there. Of course, you touched on the yellow and purple scheme. It's probably something straight out of the swinging 60s, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, we call it the Violet Crumble. A car previously campaigned by Darren Pearce in Tasmania. John Harrison previously ran Mustangs in Group N and decided to jump into the Cortina fray. And is getting right stuck into it, trying to reel in that number 99 machine of Les Walmsley, who's the leading Cortina at the moment. Tilly rounds up McLaughlin. Very big lead now for Brad Tilly. Di Pioli, has he got a problem? He just pulled onto the inside of the old front straight.
Certainly has. And,
yeah, he has. Moyle has gone past.
Right down, yeah.
So Adrian Moyle up into second place.
McNiven's not too far away as well, so he'll be pouncing on that as Di Pioli as well. So the Western Australian things starting to come unstuck a bit there.
Yeah, he's still continuing, but don't know for how much longer. Much reduced pace. So problems for the West Australian. It looks like his race will be going no further. Disappointing after running a very strong second place in that Chevy Camaro. As meanwhile Harrison and Tobin are mixing it up on screen.
This is a good battle, isn't it? This is for 20 and 21 on the road. Les Walmsley just up the road a little bit from them. But we've also got the number 50, the Datsun there as well, of Dean McLaughlin, mixing it up. You don't have to be at the front of the field to have a battle, do you?
No, there's always battles through the field in historic touring cars with that great variety of machines that we're used to seeing out there, and no greater variety here than the V8 of Tobin, the little four-cylinder of Harrison.
So Pioli just disappearing back a couple of spots at this point in time, and that is not going to plan, that's for sure, because Brad Tilley is absolutely streaming away with it now. He's gone across the line. Moyle has gone up a spot. Pioli down 2, 3, 4, 5 now, and McNiven, Walton all going through, and I guess we'll see that car with a highlight on the timing screen in the not too distant future, because I would suggest it might be pit bound if it hasn't already gone in. Or stopped on the side of the road, because Tesori in the HQ has now gone through as well.
On screen, Jeff Mundy in the 68 model, number 68 Chevy Camaro, trying to stay ahead of Stephen Pillikers in the number 14 XU1. Then there's the Gold Capri of James from Queensland. Very keen, the Queenslanders, to come down here. A big drive to get down to Winton. Great to have them here. They wouldn't have enjoyed the cold start this morning.
It would certainly plays to a disadvantage to them, doesn't it, when they come here? But no different to us when we go to Queensland racing, Darren. You get a bit sweaty in the armpits and on the brow. It all swings and balances, doesn't it? This is a really good battle here. Peter Mullerman just off the back of this group as well, so he's trying to return fire, trying to haul something out of this weekend. This into position 14.
Yeah, this is the battle for 11th place. So Mundy in 11th, and Pillikers in the Tirana, number 14, is trying to take that over from Jeff and make a move into the top 10. Pillikers up the inside. Jeff says, I don't think so. Goes wide. Good move from Stephen Pillikers, the little nimble XU1. Mundy fighting back, though. They're side by side through the cleavage, as we used to call it.
We still do. And
the
Tirana has got a massive lock-up, didn't it, into Tank down there that time, so he'll be dealing with that. The 111, this is a really good run here for Rob James. He's holding on to these positions like there's no tomorrow. Peter Mullerman into the back of this group as well, but it just looks like that Camaro is sort of starting to come a little bit unstuck, isn't it? A bit of understeer on the that corner there. You've got to line that one up as Mullerman goes through on the 111 of Rob James, and he'll steal another spot back there as well, so that'll bring him up into 13th place.
So 350 Chev in the Camaro, 202 Holden 6 under the bonnet of the Pillikers Tirana, 289 Windsor under the bonnet of the Mullerman Mustang, and of course 3-litre Essex V6 under that gold bonnet of Robert James. Fantastic battle for 11th.
Got a few laps still remaining in this 50k race for Group N's, and I tell you what, they have done an exceptional job so far. This has been a great, entertaining race. Wherever you look, there is plenty going on, and there is our race leader coming across the strike now. It's complete lap number 12, so it's a good old distance. It's as Dick Johnson said, it's like running around the clothesline, and that was on the old track. This is the new and extended track, and we say new and extended 25 years ago.
Is it really?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there he is, race leader Brad Tilley. Give him his time in the sun. This is a commanding race lead, 12.5 seconds over Adrian Moyle to McNiven, and Moyle and McNiven are on the old pit straight going down into turn 3 now, as we're having a good look at the side of one of the Lotus Cortinas.
We saw Brad Tilley running a couple of weeks ago at Eastern Creek, the old green XY Falcon that was a big poster car for a lot of Ford fans back in the old Bianchi Historic Touring Car Series days. Not quite at the point in as it used to be, because Touring Car Masters, the regs have really gone further down the road than what they used to run in the Bianchi series. But
when you're seeing VC Commodores and things like XD Falcons running, they've moved on, haven't they?
They certainly have.
Interestingly enough, we haven't got any GTHOs here this weekend.
Yeah, the Falcon, a little bit of a disadvantage with the weights these days. They are forced to run a little bit heavier than the Mustangs, and not blessed with the most efficient aerodynamics either. It's hard work running a Falcon in historic touring cars, but it'd be great to see a few XWs and a few XYs get back out onto the track.
Just trying to pick up where Aldo Pioli has gone. Certainly hasn't gone into the pits, but has disappeared off the competitive timesheets. Yes, has gone into the lane. Thank you, Darren, picking that up on the timesheet. So certainly that's sad. It's a long way to come and finish off your weekend like that, that's for sure.
Moore still holding down second, or is he? McNiven, we're showing on the timing screen, has moved up. So what has happened to Adrian Moyle? Trying to pick up the black and silver Chevy Camaro number 13. He's showing on our timing screens as falling back to third.
There's a lot of dust up around the sweeper there as well. There he is.
So Peter McNiven, the Mazda, second place outright. What a drive. Moyle now has his hands full around the sweeper with Adam Walton right behind him in that battle for third place. Problems for Jeff Mundy in the 68 Camaro.
Yeah, that's a big problem, isn't it?
That does not look
oil
healthy.
pouring out of somewhere. Gearbox? Back of the engine? It's sort of underneath the driver's feet, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that does not look healthy for Jeff Mundy, unfortunately, and he'll be coming into the pits.
Let's hope that smoke just burning off and wasn't hitting onto the track. There's little mini streams on through, and they continue to motor on very, very reliably, the minis. There's Muellerman coming through turn 3. He's cleared the group he was in, and now into P10, so he's burst the bubble into the 10. Great to see the 43 ranging back up into the 10, probably where he should have been all along. And there goes one of the red Camaros as well, being chased down by the Datsun. Our leader again coming onto the straight there, Brad Tilley, just not even sliding the car yet, just pointing it directly at the apex, driving off the wheel rather than off the throttle, which he can do from time to time with a Group N type of car.
A man who is not easing up on the throttle is Peter McNiven. He's really pushing hard in the Mazda, that engine note that is so famous. He's up there in second place trying to hunt down Till. He's got a fair way to go though, but nevertheless a great drive. The real battle though is between Moyle and Walton through the sweeper there. The black Camaro being chased by the red Mustang number 57. That's a great battle for third place.
You'd have to say, Darren, that Moyle has got an issue. There's something that he's relinquished second place in the race over to the Mazda, and I mean that with the utmost of respect, because he did have to drive through, but it wasn't that hard a thing to do. But this guy is just wringing the neck of the NC number 13 out there. No
Tilley
way!
Off. Brad Tilley, our race leader, has fallen off the new, or we call it new in inverted commas, back straight.
Turn 10.
Turn 10.
He's got enough of a lead though, he can gather it all back up and won't drop the lead of the race. But what Peter McNiven will have now
and here he is,
will be the blood in the water like a killer shark.
He is right behind the number 28 race leader, Brad Tilley. Just got to round up one of the back markers there, and he will be right on the Mustang's tail as we head towards the end of this Just Cars Magazine 50k Cup.
I'm going to say we've got one more lap. This is likely to be the final lap of this race. So Peter McNiven, he can smell the blood in the water, can't he? Look, he's throwing it up onto the ripple strips, trying to get around, got the headlights ablaze, letting everyone know that he is on a charge. There it is, first and second on the road. A lap ago, it was out to over 12 seconds, that lead. Brad Tilley had an off, and there's yellow flags being waved down at the sweeper. There's one of the the silver, is that Robert Baird, who's now parked the silver Camaro off to driver's left on the entry to the sweeper. We ignore that for the moment because now it is lit up at the front of this race. The Just Cars Touring Car Cup over 50 Ks. There it is. That's the lead. Tilley to McNiven.
I can't remember the last time Brad Tilley went off the track. Been watching him race for probably close to 30 years. Just had dropped the ball there, I guess you could say. McNiven now making a run on Brad Tilley. This is the battle for the lead, folks. Peter McNiven into the lead for the first time. The first time Brad Tilley's been headed all weekend. Can he fight back?
There's something not quite right about the 28, isn't there, Darren, at the moment? McNiven, an RX2, a rotary-powered car, about to win a Group N race.
Don't put the mocker on him.
Have a look at this.
We're good at it.
Car number 13, Mark the Day. The happy hunting ground for the lower capacity cars. I'm not going to say lower revving because Pete's given it to it. He's showing it all the revs on the planet. There it is. Check the flag. And he takes it. Pete McNiven, 0.08 on the line. Brad Tilley, spears off. Absolutely out of brakes. That is nasty. We saw Luke Gretsch-Gumbo do that in the HSV at the state round earlier on this year.
That's got to be a brake issue.
Yeah,
surely.
That is definitely a brake issue. But let's not take it away. That's very Peter Jansen with Brock coming across the line, isn't it? Spinning in the background.
Brad not impressed at all.
But, wow, Pete McNiven. He is already around through to the sweeper now. What a, I'm going to throw it out there, a race for the ages. It wasn't a Mustang, it wasn't a Camaro, it wasn't a GDHO, and it wasn't a Tirana. It was a Mazda RX-2. Gee, hasn't Pete McNiven and Darren Hossack's cars just gone up in value all of a sudden?
Yeah, Jason Humble too. I'm sure he'll be watching
Humble
that.
as
A
well.
long-time RX2 campaigner. He would have been cheering for Peter there, but what a drive for McNiven. Obviously, Tilley with some car issues, but McNiven did not let up all race. Drove very hard, wrung the neck of that little RX2, and deservedly took the victory. What a race.
Just hearing we're going to see a replay of, Brad Tilley, who led Planet 15 of the 16 laps, came out of the final. There's all the horsepower starting to get put down. Just gets to the line and split 1/8 of a second. And he took the victory. Not being arrested for speed at all, is it? He just goes spearing off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That and Pete McNiven's watching that going, jeepers, throwing it all at me, and the race was over. The EC replay shows it all there. Tilley, I hope he hasn't damaged that car at all. Some of those access roads for recruits and things like that, when you start to do that, no, that is for...
And did all the excitement too. Adam Walton got onto the podium on that last lap there in the number 57 Ford Mustang. So 2 Tilley prepared Mustangs finishing 2nd and 3rd. So Adrian Moyle just dipping out there on the last lap. Finished 4th. Dom Leo, strong 5th in the Camaro. Mark Desari, the big HQ, finished 6th. Brent Trengrove brought the number 22 Chevy Camaro home in 7th. Adam Bressington, yet another great drive from Bresso in the little Coupe Rest, finished 8th. David Street from Queensland in the XU1 was 9th. And Pete Muhlman broke into the top 10 in the Mustang.
Well, that was a terrific race. They've done a terrific job there. And I'm not sure how many people would have had money on the fact that Pete McNiven would come out of P5 to take the win there. I reckon probably some smart people that maybe had some inside running there. But when you look at the gravity of the competition around Darren, with Aldo Pioli bowing out, Walton obviously getting there in the end, Adrian Moyle, he fell off to the wayside. Adam Bressington, where did the Mini end up?
Eighth, in fact.
8th, good stuff there. Hey, we've got a Heritage Touring Car race combined rolling start coming our way. This is a longer distance race as well. We're going to take a quick break because we've got a couple of recoveries going on.
And thank you very much to Just Cars magazine.
Absolutely.
The latest issue is out now including Just Parts. So the separate magazine it used to be was just purely parts. Now it's combined with Just Cars magazine. So no doubt there'll be some bargains in there.
Absolutely. Keep your eye out. It's like the old days, isn't it? Thursday morning, down to the trading post. Yep. Everyone around the morning tea table.
Yep.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Jousting sticks.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, we'll take a quick break. Darren Smith and Darren Knott, we're going to take a rest for a moment because we're about to have the Heritage Touring Cars come out, and we'll be back with you in a moment.